The first step I use for an older knife, and this is an older Vitry style knife I've had for several months, and you can see it's kind of crooked because I haven't really been sharpening this part that much, and but this area here works fine, so that's what I focus on. I use I don't know if you can see that, a Dia-Sharp extra fine stone, and the extra fine works really well rehoning the knife, and I don't find that I need to use anything more abrasive. This has a fairly decent abrasive quality. It's probably around 1,000 or 1,200, maybe 1,500. It does a good job of honing the knife. Now I'll just show you how I do it. It's really a simple process. You can put the blade flat if you like. I know some remakers do that. I don't, because it just, for me, it seems to take too much time. I will raise it about 15 degrees and then slowly, in small circles. Okay, I use small circles like this. And I go one direction. Some people go this direction. I just go one direction. Small circles. Now I can tell that this is so worn. This knife is so worn that I'm not really making contact with the edge. So I'm going to have to raise it a little bit more, maybe 20 degrees. And there, that's better. I'm able to find, because you'll be able to find the edge if you just go up and down like so and try to move the knife. You'll be able to find where it's planed and where it isn't. Here it's not. This is just, I would be scraping for about an hour before I found something. But right about here, about 20 degrees, that's where the edge is. That's where that honed edge is. And so you'll feel it, because it'll suddenly become resistant. It'll kind of grab the knife, essentially. You'll feel that resistance as you're honing it. And if you go too far, you'll also feel it, because the knife will want to stop. So I do this for quite a bit. I'll do maybe 5 passages like this. Maybe. I don't really count. I just kind of feel my way through this. But I think I'm getting close to having a burr. And you'll feel with your finger the burr. The burr's a microscopic edge. It's very fine, but you're going to feel it if I go against the scrape. Now I start, because I'm right-handed, I start away, the opposite side of the knife, not the cutting side. If you were left-handed, you should start like so, this side, and then hone the cutting edge here. But since I want the cutting edge to go this way, on this front of the blade, because I'm right-handed, I start on the opposite side. So I get the burr that way. Now, since I have it, I turn to the cutting side, which is actually facing up, and do more of the same. Little circles. Now, some people will do this, but the problem with that is you have to keep the knife flat on the stone, and you lose the feel of where the knife is. At least I do. But when you do small circles like this, you can keep that edge on the stone, and you will feel that edge the whole way through. And you'll feel if you go too far or if you don't go far enough up. You see? Since this knife is so worn, I really have to raise it about 20 degrees. And I wouldn't recommend raising it any higher, because if you have to go up like so, that's not a good edge to have. You don't want the edge to really be more than 20 degrees. This is about 15 degrees, and this is about 20, between 20 and 25. Now, how do I know that? I don't really know. I'm just guessing. But if you get up to 45, right, which is halfway, or even 35, that's too much. You've gone too high, and you need to re-hone the blade. You need to find that edge and flatten it. What I mean by flatten it is get it so it's not, the angle isn't so intense. Now I've done this quite enough, and I'm sure I have an edge on there. And yeah, I can feel the edge. It's very much there. So let's grab some piece of cane here and scrape a little bit. And I'm not putting any pressure. And it's easily taking the cane off. It's plenty sharp. Now you can sharpen a knife just this way with a 1200 grit stone, and you'll be able to use that stone. But what I do is I use like a two-part system. So once I've honed the edge, then I'll bring in a Spyderco. This is a Spyderco extra fine. And what this does is it just maintains that edge. It doesn't hone it, it just maintains it. And I use this because after you scrape the reed a little bit for a while, the edge will wear down. And to get it back, I'll just do, and sometimes you hear this on my videos, I'll just do a little of this. And you can see a little bit, some of that coming off. And this just brings the edge back. Now I'll be able to do this, rehone it on here maybe 20, maybe 30 times before I have to rehone it on the diamond stone. So after I've been scraping a little bit, of course this knife's very sharp. I'd be able to scrape quite a bit with this knife. You can see it's just, it removes the cane effortlessly. Yeah, and that's the way you would like it to be. You don't want to have any pressure. I'm putting zero pressure, and it's just taking the cane off. You'll make much better reeds this way. Your reed making, if you get your knife to be as sharp as this, your reed making will improve 10 times. It's not a difficult process. It just takes a little time to get the feel for it. The other thing is, if you're using a particular brand of knife and you're not having good results, then try something different. Because I make much better reeds with this knife than I do with other brands. Okay, I've been scraping with this knife for a little while, and I have to use this stone to resharpen it. And so what I do is I usually just do a little of this, like that, and that's about it. Yeah, it's back. The edge is back with a vengeance. So that's all you need to do. You get the burr on here and hone it, refine it on this. I hope that helps.